Okay, now we're going to look at Access Lesson 3. This one's looking at forms and entering and sorting and filtering data. Forms is a part of that. Um, as before, I've got the lessons on another screen here, and we're just going to be looking directly at the data files here in order to do the homework. So scroll here on the side, and I'm going to get down to drill one, and it's just to create a form and enter data. And here we're going to be, notice we have three access three files here. We're going to be using all three for this. First one's going to be drill one. Okay, we're going to turn off this security risk, and it is read only, so we do need to save it as. So I'm going to go in here. I can just save it in my downloads, and this will be access. I can just name it, keep it the name the same thing. Access drill one, drill one, or that's just drill one. Okay. So enable content, you could if you wanted to, but I'm just going to close that. And here we're going to create a form. And forms are actually pretty easy to create because they're just based on whatever is in your database already. So here we have name, address, city, state, blah, blah. If we go in here and we go to the Create tab and we click Form, bing, bang, boom, there is the stuff that is from the fields, record number, name, address, city, state, etc. And it's right here on this form that we can then save and then just use that when we want to enter data. So what we'll want to do then is enter a couple of new people here in the database. You go down here to this little, see this little star there, you go to the new record, and you'll, okay, I can type it in. Hey, I can't type anything. That's because you have to go to the form view to actually enter the data. So I clicked here. Now I can type. Again, I'm going to pause the video here while I type this stuff in. Okay, I've put these people in. I've put in Carla, there she is, and I've put in Roy, there he is. And it also has us go in and for one of our customers has changed, and Ahmed, and so we can use find to locate his record. And I'm going to show you, let's see, it's find, do find here. And we're going to find Ahmed. As you remember, this is probably not going to find him because as you remember before, we had to look in any part of the field. Okay, so find next. Still hasn't found it. So here we need to go even further and go to any part of the current document. We go there and then it finds him. And there's Ahmed, and we want to change his the end of his um, address, or a lot of his address here. Zip code stays mostly the same, 0286, and we change the address to 6 Elm Street. Okay, and now we have got that changed, and we close this, and it should give us the instructions told us to close the customers table before we did this. You don't really have to. I'll go ahead and do it. But yeah, it's just not one of those things that you have to do. We close this, and it should give us the option to save it, which we do. We're going to call this the customers form. Click OK, and there it is. And let's go see. Yep, and there's Carla, there's Roy, and there's Ahmed's address change. If you had left that table open and closed it, you may have to go in and hit refresh all, and that would bring those new entries in if you're not seeing them. If you go to your form and you're like, I'm seeing them here, but I'm not seeing them on the table, go back to the table and hit refresh all, and those should pop back up. And that for this little the first part of this, that's what we're doing here. We created the form and we use the form to both enter new people and edit an address. Okay, we're going to be done with this file, and we're going to be going to filtering some records here. And here, again, we turn this off. We're going to save this as, we're going to go to downloads, we're going to call this drill 2 because we don't really care. And we're going to close that, not enable that content. Okay, so here we go in here, and this is filtering. There's actually a lot of ways to filter data, both in Access, Excel, these programs. What it wants us to do here is, let's see here, is filter records. Um, okay, so we've got this. It wants us to click on the selection for anybody who lives in Chicago. We'll do this first one, and we click here and we see equals Chicago. And when we do this, it just shows us all the people who live in Chicago. Filters it down to that. If you click this little button right here, there's a filter tab, and you can kind of see all of the other potential options here. So if you wanted to take off everybody, or you're not sorting by anybody, you're going to show everybody. Then we go in here, if we just wanted to see Park Ridge equals Park Ridge, it's just one. We want to see Park Ridge and Evanston, right? You can do that too. It's just, this is how if you just wanted to look at a certain subset of the data you've got, this is how you do it. Let's see what we're doing next here. Click the remove. Okay, just remove the filter, use the selection to display, close the table, do not save the changes, close the database file, and that is pretty much that. Let's see, let's switch these just to Evanston. Park Ridge off of there. There's Evanston, there's 3. Close the table, do not change the save. Oh, because we're not even, okay. Nope, and close the database. And that's really all we're doing for 2. Go ahead and turn that in, but there's not really a ton to grade there. And then what we want to do is do a little bit of sorting, and let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to sort some records. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to close this one, and we're going to open up drill 3. Again, close that. Go ahead here and save as. We'll just call it 3.1. Sure. Great. Okay. And we want to enable content, and we'll open up employees. And the first thing we're going to do is just make some copies and pastes of this table employees. So make a copy of the employees table and use practicing sorts. Once the employee, click once on the employee table to select it. Here it is. Now we're going to either copy it up here. We could also probably right click and copy there, but we're not going to. We're going to copy from here. And now we're just going to paste it. And we're going to call this employees sorted ID. That. And what are we going to do here? Go over there. So we're going to click on the employee ID in the first record, and then click descending order on the home tab. And now now they're going backwards from 900 down to 100. Yep. Okay. Close the table and save the changes. Well, that's pretty easy enough. Save that one. Now we're going to make another copy of employees, not employees sorted, but back to the regular old employees here. Since this is the last thing that we copied, I think we could probably just paste it again. So we'll paste and we'll call this employee sorted last name. Okay. Yep. There it is. And let's make sure it is. Yeah, it is a copy of employees. Okay. The table, last name, ascending. And that is the same thing as saying A to Z. Again, there are a couple, as with most Microsoft programs, there are a couple of ways to do things. We could copy from right click, or we could copy here. Same thing here. You can do ascending here, or you can go in here and sort A to Z and get to the same place. Key here is we want to make sure that it's sorted, starting with our J's and ending with our W. We did sorted last name. And this was going to be when we're going to do sorted state. Okay, so we're going to close this. We want to save our changes here. We are going to paste again because we haven't, oops. We haven't copied anything else, so it's still the same employees. So this one's going to be employees sorted state. Which I just did there. We got that. Make sure it's yep. Okay. So as you can imagine, I bet we're going to sort these by state. Let's see. Oh, now we're actually going to filter these. Okay. Click advanced filter sort. Okay. Right here. Advanced filter options. Advanced filter sort. Okay, I didn't for a second. I didn't do it. Okay. Um, in the design grid, click in the field box in the first column. Okay, which we did. Um, click the down arrow and select state. So what we're saying here is that, you know, this sort is going to be based on state right here. Um, and the sort box, okay, sort ascending. And again, that's A to Z. Is that all we need to do? Yep. And then click down on the, ah, I'm lost here. No, here we go. Okay, and we also, basically what it's saying is like, first we're going to sort by state, and then we're going to sort by city to sort of, oops, I get hit twice, state twice. I imagine we're going to be doing ascending here as well. Yep. We go here and apply filter on the home tab. There, this is filter toggle, but it's the same thing. And then here we can see that that filter has been put in place because, you know, these are in alphabetical order, and then these are in alphabetical order, you know, first, then second. Because, you know, Cleveland would be the top if it was sorted by city first, but instead it's sorted by state first and then by city. Okay, is that all we do now? We've got one more. And then we are, yeah, we'll close this. We will save it. We're going to make, again, I'm just going to do one. I keep trying to do that. Paste it in the wrong spot. We go up here. Now we paste it. And this one's going to be called, what is this called? Sorted by name. Ooh. Okay. Now we click OK, and this one here sorted by name. We're going to be going to the advanced filters again, I believe. Yep. Oh, and here we're doing last name first and then first name. So we'll do this. Advanced filter sort. Our field here will be last name in ascending and then first name. Ascending. We will toggle filter here. It says this is apply filter. It says toggle filter, which is kind of confusing, but it is the apply filter button. Do that. And then Johnson J, you know, Reynosa J, and then Reynosa M. So they're sorted first by last name and then by first name. Is that everything we're doing there? I believe it is. So that's all of lesson 3 here. So I'm going to pause the video real quick and we'll take a look at lesson 4. Okay, now we're going to look at lesson 4. As always, I've got the access files here. I got the lesson document on a different screen. And here we're going to be making some simple queries. And like I said earlier, a query is just asking a question to the database to spit out some answers. And we're going to do some simple ones here. Again, read through the lesson plan, but I'm going to go directly to the drills. If you don't read, you won't know what the stuff that I'm clicking on means. Okay, so we're going to start access. We're going to do access drill 4. We're going to go ahead. We're going to close this, save as, and we'll go to, we'll just save there. Okay. The next thing they want us to do is go to the Create tab, which is right here. Actually, let me close this first. And we'll go to the Create tab. And here is Query Design. It's right next to the wizard. And then there's a different kind of query right here. But we just want to look at the query design. We open this up and we see here is query 1 is what we're going to be making. And in the show table box, which is this, it says add tables now, is select the employee table and click add. But here you just have to go in here. You can do add here, or you can just double click it. I prefer to double click it. And there's everything that's in that database, or in that particular table, I should say, not the entire database, but the table. We don't need this anymore. We can close some of this other stuff. I'll close the clipboard and we'll have this right here. In the field list, double click the team ID name, field name, and it will pop down in here, which expect it to. And there will be a checkbox for the show box, which is what we want, and we want to sort in ascending order. The next thing we want to do is double click the last name. We're going to sort this in ascending order. And on the third one, we're going to double click first name. It doesn't say to sort by ascending, but let's just do it anyway. Get it to the rest of them. It says now click the save button on the quick access toolbar. That is this button right here, up here in the corner. Do that, and query 1 is now going to be team ID query 1. We're going to click OK, and now we see that it's saved up here, and it's also in our list of queries. Now we're going to run it to see if it works, and there it is. This is what it should look like. So we have 3 folks who don't have a team, and then we have the list of everyone else who is in the team, right? So that is the first one. This is close the query window, which is right here. We're kind of going back to the blank database. Now we're going to add criteria for a query. So before it was just saying like, hey, excuse me, show everyone's team ID. In this one, we're going to be looking at some specific stuff, like let's look at some people who are on a certain team, or who don't have a team, or who do have a team. And so we'll go down here, and we'll go to use criteria in a query. Again, we're going to keep this same database open, go back to that create tab, and go back to the query design. Using the employee table again, stretching that out. And now we're going to do the team ID field. And our criteria here is going to be is null. So if you notice, when we have these functions here, we don't actually want these. We just want to type in is null. And that's basically saying like there's no entry for this particular field in this entry in the database. Okay. And now we'll do last name, sorted ascending. And do we do first name too? We do. First name, all 3 should have show, they do. And we'll save it. This will be team ID query 2. Click OK. Pops up over here. We will run it. And there are those 3 folks who didn't have a team. So if you're saying like, hey, we want to make sure that every employee has a team, let's see who doesn't. We would get a hold of these 3 folks and we would assign them to a different team. Is there anything else we do for this one? No, but now we're going to copy and modify a query. So we're going to close this one. And copying and pasting a query is just like copying and pasting a table like we did in the last lesson. I think we're going to copy it here and we're going to paste it. And we're going to call this one team ID query 3. Okay. And so what are we going to do now? We're going to go to the design view for this particular query. So we'll just run it. We'll go to the design view so we can change it. And what are we doing now? Oh, now we're going to say who does have a team. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to take out the is null criteria. We're going to put in an asterisk. That's Shift 8 on a keyboard. And this is going to be like anybody who does have this field has an entry in their overall entry, and we'll see what it shows up as. Okay, is there anything else we need to do? Because we're just doing everybody's names the same. This one's already saved, so we just have to run it. And I've done something wrong because I didn't sort somehow or another. Oh, I didn't do sort ascending. Ha! Let's go back and fix that. So we're going to back over here. This needs to be sorted ascending as well. Let's do ascending for them too. Now we'll run it again, and there we go. That's what we're supposed to see. Okay, so we've got those. It's all done for those three queries. Let's see, we've got those three. And then drill for this is for some reason says drill for is print query results, but that's not what that is. What this is at all. It's showing how to get a specific. It's more of the filtering, what you could say is, or setting your query to only ask a very specific question. And this one is going to be getting the people who are in teams. Is it in teams? Let me see here. No, it is people who are in Illinois. That's what it is. So they're going to be sorted by team though. So we're going to go back here, and they want us to do this from the Create tab, I believe. Yep. So we know the drill. Let's close this one first. Done this. We're going to go back to Query Design. Pops up as these queries here because we were editing one last time. We're going to go back to the tables. We're going to put employee back in there. And what are we doing here? Okay. Double click team ID. We've done this before. Okay. It says don't set any order to it. Then we do first and last name, both, or last then first name, both sorted ascending. And then the last thing we do is do state, which is right here. And in here with our criteria, if we put IL here, which is the abbreviation for Illinois, it's only going to show us, hopefully, if we do it right, it's only going to show us employees who live in Illinois. So let's save it. We're going to call this state Illinois query. Okay. I could type. And we're going to click OK, and then we're going to run it. And lo and behold, there are all the folks who live in Illinois. And those, again, are very simple queries. You can go in here and you can do way more. You can, with tables and different databases that are linked together in certain ways, but we're not going to worry about that now because we're going to keep it very simple because we're just starting out here. And look at these queries that we've just done here. So you should have these 4 when you turn them in. And that's number 4, lesson 4. I'm going to pause the video again. We'll come back. We will do lesson 5. Okay, now we look at lesson number 5. It's talking about reports. It's kind of a long file. You do want to read it, but there's not a lot to the drills. One of them we won't do, and then one of them we might be able to do. It's kind of going to be an optional one, and I'll show you why here in a second. But we're looking at the reports, and that's, like they say, we're just spitting out some reports here. And we scroll down here to drill 1, and we're going to use the report wizard here. So we're going to open up Access 5, do this. We're going to save it in Documents. And we're going to close that. And we're going to go here to create. And you see they have these wizards. You can do them for queries. You can do them for forms. Here we're going to do one for reports. And it's kind of just, reports are a little bit tougher to put together. Using the wizard here is pretty helpful. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to select the employee table. And we're going to get, what are we getting? First name, last name, and state. Last name, first name, and state. Click next, and it's like, what are you going to group these by? And here we're going to group them by state because the point of this is to print out a report that shows all of our people grouped by state. So we'll go there. And now what we're going to do is once that they're grouped, how are we going to spit them out? We're going to have them sorted, of course, last name, then first name, both ascending. Do that. They want us to do the stepped layout. There's a few different ones. You can kind of see how they look differently over here as you check. And then the orientation is portrait. Landscape is just kind of when it's on its side. It doesn't show there, but it's just think about, when the paper's on its side. Click next. We're going to call this employee by state. And we're going to preview the report before we move on. So we're going to click finish here. And hey, there it is, employee by state. And then it wants us to go in, and this is our preview of it. So we can close it there. And now we can go And it didn't. Okay, here's my God, insane. So here is employee by state. And we want to go in and do some design work to this. The design key is not working here, but if we um, right click here, let's see, we'll go to design view. And now it says to go in here. So we see report design right here. We can change the themes. And it doesn't really matter which one you pick. I'll pick this one. And you can change the colors if you like. Let's go red, orange, right? And then when you do these changes to themes, and it is going to say, go in and make sure the page blank of blank shows up and all of this stuff. If we go in here, we're gonna need to save it, and then we can go take a look at it. So now, I did the color change and I did the theme change, and we can see that things are a little different because based on that theme. One thing we could change here is that state is way over here and last name is way over here. So what we could do is we could go in here, right click again, go to design view, and we could move state. There's a lot of different ways you could do this, but I'm just going to move state in a little bit. I'm going to have to do this. Go state. And I'll close this. We'll save it. We'll run it again. And now we see the state is a little bit further in here. Just makes it look a little bit better. You could move last name back closer to it. You could move first name closer to last name. All those things you could do. Basically just showing it when you get into the design view is when you're really just working with the layout of the page itself, because the report is just that. It's just a report. It's not doing any data work behind the scenes. It's just if you're going to be doing any design changes, it's just going to be designing. So there's that one. The next thing we wants us to do is print a report. We are not going to do that. We're going to skip that. And then the third one is delete a report. We want to delete employee, social security number. Easy enough to do. Hit the delete key. You can also right click it, click delete right there. You could also click delete right there. On that, and we'll finally get rid of it. The last one here wants us to create labels, and I've had a little bit of trouble getting access to work with me on this one. So if you turn your homework in and this one's not there, you're not going to be counted off. And I'll show you why. So we go here to create. We're going to use employee as our, let's see, open access, blah, blah, blah. Click the employee tab once to select it, which we did. Records in this table will now be used to create labels. Now click, and I'll just go ahead and open up. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. And go to labels. And first you get an error, which is fine. And then we get to here and notice that I'm getting the spinning blue wheel. And what it wants us to do next is to select Avery as our manufacturer, right? Well, the problem is it's not showing any of the other manufacturers. I think what's happening here is it is very slowly in the background loading all these different manufacturers, because these types of labels, there's tons and tons of different types of labels. Give it a couple of minutes, see if it loads. When I did this before, I waited about 5 minutes and it never loaded in. So that, for me at least, this operation can't be done. If you are able to get it to load, the instructions are there. And again, this is the label wizard. You click next. See, like I can't do anything because I can't choose the type of label. And so, yeah, if you can do it, just follow those directions and turn it in. If you can't, I don't blame you. I couldn't either. So with that, that's really basic for reports. It's basically you're telling it what to show you, and it shows you that stuff. And that's lesson 5, really. There's not anything else to this, is there? No. So that's it. There's 3, 4, and 5, and that's all of them for the Access tutorial. All right. Good luck with it.